Notice of this meeting was given to all board members and associates in a meeting notice dated November 8th, 2023. Furthermore, on that date, a copy of such notice was sent to the Times, the Trentonian, and the clerk of the Township of Hamilton. It was also posted on the bulletin board at the entrance to the boardroom in the Hamilton Square Administrative Building. Please rise for the flag salute.
United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Roll call. Mr. Gonzalez. Ms. Harvey.
Here.
Mr. Kanka.
Here.
Dr. McSheen.
Here.
Soto. Here. Ms. Byrne.
Here.
Mr. Salentano.
Here.
Dr. Farrar.
Here.
Thornton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes.
Whereas NJSA 10:4-13 requires adoption of the board to go into executive session, be it resolved that the board, pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, New Jersey, Title 18A, and the Hamilton Township Board of Education Bylaw, number 0166, hereby enter executive session to discuss a matter involving human resource matters and matters falling under the attorney-client privilege. Be it further resolved that the minutes of this executive session shall be made public following formal action by the board and/or at the conclusion of any investigations, due process proceeding, or litigation, so long as not prohibited by law and so long as the need for maintaining confidentiality no longer exists.
Okay.
our Black Choir can actually come up and perform now for us. We've kept you first.
Hello, members of the board, all the members of our community here. Thank you so much for having us tonight. I'm Natalie Megalis. I am the long-term sub for the choir at Nottingham this year. And I'm so glad to be here. I read Nottingham a long time ago. And this is a program that gave me everything I need to start my professional career as an artist. And I've been a professional performer for the past 20 years. And this is my first year back at my home place. My skills are Hamilton students as well, and I'm so excited and so proud to serve you the next generation of what magic happens today. So we have the national anthem. We're going to start. So after that, we have a few preview songs from our concert, which will be at Nottingham High School, 7/13. Getting artists for marketing and a little commercial. So if you're feeling like in a festive mood on December 13th, it's Wednesday night, 7 p.m. at Nottingham on the concert will be there. So please see you next.
So say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Our first piece is called something called the Wild Piece, and they are by and just a beautiful
Something told the wild geese it was time to go. Though the fields lay golden, something whispered slow. Leaves were green and stirring. Leaves were green and stirring. Berries luster glow. Berries luster glow. But beneath warm feathers, something cautioned frost. So fly, bird, fly, winter's on the wing. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Come again next spring.
And lots more exciting things to come for the concert. Free holiday represented and some formal events and all of this. So we have to focus on this.
One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, celebrate our lives. Lie, 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 lights. Candles burning bright, golden and blue, shining through darkest nights. Nine, 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 nights. Let the light shine. Let the light shine. In the window. In the window. When you think it's almost gone, there is still hope. There is still hope. Lie, 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 lights. And we light the flame and watch it rise. We're reminded again. Let the light shine. Let the light shine. In the window. In the window. When you think it's almost gone, there is still hope. There is still hope. Lie, 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 lies. Lie, 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 lights. Let the light shine. Let the light shine. In the window. In the window. When you think it's almost gone, there is still hope. There is still hope. There is still hope. There is still hope. There is still, there is still hope.
We have one more round of applause. December 13th.
For the night we.
Okay.
Good God, y'all.
Absolutely incredible.
Hi, how are you?
You guys made it, huh?
Hey, ladies, how are you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mine is on my phone. I know.
So, thank you, everyone. What an amazing performance. We are so honored to be able to showcase what amazing talent we have here in Hamilton. So, thank you to everyone. And again, we do apologize for being late coming back out. We're going to go right into our meeting, and if we can start with the superintendent's report.
Thank you. That's a very hard act to follow. So let me go to some congratulations. I'd like to send my congratulations to the Reynolds Marketplace. Students in B106 had their grand opening this past Tuesday. It was a great event. I enjoyed visiting that classroom and the students, and did a little bit of holiday shopping while I was there. They had some great ornaments. I'd like to also congratulate Grace student artist Brianna Peralta for her book cover artwork that will hang in Grace's newly renovated library. And then I want to give congratulations to an individual who is in the room here, working right now in the back, Michael D'Elia, for winning second place in the New Jersey School Public Relations Association's award contest. He won for his video, Are You Ready to Be My Teacher? If you haven't seen that video, it's absolutely spectacular. And many in the room, including myself and Mrs. Gelch, believed that that should have won first place. So Michael, congratulations, you do wonderful work. We are proud to have you on our team. Few upcoming events I want you to be aware of. We have Day of Drones on September 2nd at Steinert High School, starting at 10 a.m. That is a Saturday. We have college admissions panel on December 4th at 6 p.m. at Nottingham High School auditorium. If you have a child that is planning on attending college or have college admission questions, you should participate in this event. I have a junior in high school. I will be there. School calendar reminders, November 22nd will be one session day for students. The 23rd will be our annual Thanksgiving Day football game between West and Steinert. This year, West will host at 10:30 a.m. This is the 65th consecutive game. That's amazing. November 23rd and 24th, school will be closed for Thanksgiving break. I want to talk a little bit about a focus on improvement. I've talked a little bit about how we are working to improve academics, attendance, and behaviors in the beginning of the year, and we've been working on this actually for over a year now. As I told you before, our principals have those three goals, academic, attendance, and behavior, as their goals. In October's focus, when I met with them, was attendance. We looked at attendance in a few ways, and one of those ways is the average daily attendance percentage, and another way that we look at that is chronic absenteeism. Average daily attendance, or ADA, is defined by New Jersey Administrative Code as the average daily attendance rate in a school district, school, or program of instruction for a school year, and it shall be the total number of days present of all enrolled students divided by the number of days in membership of all enrolled students. The student average daily attendance means the total number of days that a student is present in school divided by the total possible number of days in session. It's a lot of math there. So a couple of things to keep in mind for September and October in comparisons. The ADA for the district last year was 92.97%. The September 2023, so this past September, ADA was 95.6%, while in September of last year, 2022, it was 94.66%. October of this year, ADA was 95.2%, while October of last year was 94.13%. These are slight improvements from last year, but we continue to work on them each month. It's vitally important for our students' learning and success that they attend school every day. We also look at chronic absenteeism, and that's defined as a student missing 10% or more of school days in the school year. The data is one of the measures of school accountability for the New Jersey School Performance Report. Additionally, all of our schools receive a monthly report card of their chronic absenteeism rates, which include a breakdown of rates by subgroups. More than half of our schools met or exceeded the state average for chronic absenteeism last year. During the month first month of school. This year, more than 3/4 of our schools met or exceeded the state average of chronic absenteeism. We do struggle as a district with chronic absenteeism with our most vulnerable populations such as our pre-K, our kindergarten, and students with special needs. Schools have developed campaigns to educate and support families when it comes to chronic absenteeism. And if you saw my community update that went out on Friday, you saw the poster that West has created associated with chronic absenteeism and talking about the importance of coming to school. One of the other things we're working on is academics. Achievement and student growth are two key metrics the state and federal government utilize to compare performance on English language arts and mathematics. When measuring achievement, data is most often compared to the state averages. When student growth metrics are utilized, we compare student achievement from one year to the next. When reviewing the NJSLA, which is the state scores, we had the highest growth for the spring of 2022 test results to the spring of 2023 test results among our 6th to 9th grade English language art classes. All of our ELA cohorts experienced growth with the exception of one grade. The math achievement and growth is not where we want it, but we are working on that, and there are some positive notes that we will be referencing in future superintendent reports and future presentations. So I just wanted to touch base on those two metrics, the attendance and the academics, because I talk about the fact that we're working on them, but unless I start putting numbers behind them, I think people just think we're just talking about the importance of getting better when we are actually digging deep into the numbers and also looking to see how we can improve those areas. A couple of other things I want to highlight. Our CPAG, or Special Education Parent Advisory Group, was very successful last year and held a number of meetings. We've already had the first meeting of the year. Our next meeting is on December 5th. We'll then have a meeting on February 27th, April 23rd, and May 13th. And again, May 13th will be the Whole Child Fair. More information will follow. And December's meeting is at 6 p.m. at Crockett Middle School. The community and our staff received some correspondence with me in between my normal community updates, and that had to do with a cybersecurity breach that we had 2 weeks ago. And I messaged this out to the community. As an organization, we are not immune to hackers, and our tech department had implemented practices and precautions to minimize any breach. Throughout the process, I kept the whole board informed and met with committee chairs twice to provide details of the process. Last year, we included cybersecurity insurance in our budget in the event of such a situation. They worked with us on the issue. It's important to note that at no time were we unable to continue our daily operations in none of our student information systems, financial systems, or Google Workplace were compromised. This is a testament to the efforts of our tech department. Our district school calendar committee met last week for our second meeting of the year, and we met several times last year to develop the 24-25 school calendar that will go on the board in January of 2024 to be approved for next year's calendar. You know we met because we sent all of you a survey. So in the community update, there is a survey for your opinions on the calendar. There are lots of questions that come up every year when we issue the calendar, and so I want to make sure that the public knows and has a voice there. So a couple things that keep coming up that I need to clarify, even though we're asking questions. We being the school district, do not have the authority to move elections out of the schools. For the entire time I have been superintendent and before I was here, we have tried to move the elections out of our schools. We will continue to do that. The Board of Elections makes those decisions. Remote instruction for elections and primaries is not allowed by the New Jersey Department of Ed right now. However, there are talks about allowing it in the future. The question is being asked because if allowed, we want to know how the community feels about those 2 days. We do have to schedule inclement weather days, also known as snow days, into the calendar. So if people have asked, why would we do that? It just extends the year. The year I don't schedule inclement weather into the calendar will be the year we have blizzard after blizzard after blizzard. Trust me, I will bet the house on that. And we appreciate everybody's feedback to the committee. The committee will look at all of the results, and we will use those results to help us to create a calendar. But I will say this is a hardworking group of people, There are stakeholders from all different positions in our community. There's a parent, there's multiple parents on the committee, staff members, administrators. No matter what calendar is put out, somebody will not be happy with it. Happens every year. We are just trying to produce a calendar that is best for the most people as we go forward. And yes, we are trying to also create a calendar for the following year after that, so that maybe 6 months from the time the board approves next year's calendar, we can get another calendar approved, so we have 2 years worth of calendars up and available for families. And we've heard that from our families many times. I'd like to congratulate our District Community Relations Committee. They held their second meeting, and participation has increased each time. I know Dr. McSheen has a report on that, so later on he's going to talk about that. Our Facilities Strategic Planning Committee met again, and we've been meeting since last year. Anybody can come to these meetings. The next meeting is December 19th at 6 p.m. in the Grice cafeteria. The Facilities Strategic Planning Committee is deciding what we are doing with our facilities over the next 10, 15, 20, 30 years. What type of grade structure should we have to maximize our building uses? What kind of spaces should we have in our buildings? Should we renovate? Should we add on? Should we do other things? Anybody and everybody can be part of these committees. You can come to one meeting, you can come to all of them, you can come to every other one. But again, I want to remind the community, these have always been open, and you are always welcome. We have the New Jersey multi-tiered system of support that is in full swing at our elementary schools in our district, with our initial focus on the area of reading and phonemic awareness. We had training for the elementary schools in June, September, and November with our consultant and student services personnel. And I will speak more about MTSS as we go on in different meetings. Finally, we have a campaign of what we call difference makers. Last year, we started a difference maker campaign out of my office that recognizes faculty, staff, students, administrators, and the community for making a difference in our school district. Last year, we recognized almost 100 people over the course of 10 months. The campaign kicked off in October, and we already have 31 people that have been recognized. And these are individuals who make a difference in our district and are positive examples of this year's theme, Every Day Counts. And finally, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to our entire community, and let's continue to work together to keep a positive mindset and make sure that every day counts in our school district. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Rocco. So do I have any Board of Education members that have any announcements? Dr. Ferraro?
I just have a couple here. On November 8th, as you may have seen in the video, the New Jersey State Police medevac helicopter landed at Morgan School, which is one of my liaison schools, which is why I was there. The pilot of the medevac has a student who attends Morgan. It was really fun to watch the pilot bring the helicopter into the space above the playground, because instead of going nose in perpendicular like you would expect, it came in this way, parallel to the building. It was really interesting to watch. And the students all got to peek inside the helicopter. There were like 4 state troopers there to answer questions. I found it very interesting to learn that the helicopter parts are made in Italy, and the helicopter itself is assembled in North Philadelphia. And one of the troopers told the kids that, yes, the helicopter came with a new car smell. I also recently attended a community meeting at the Grounds for Sculpture. I did not go as a board member, I went as a community member. But I wanted everybody to know that the Grounds has installed what is called the Cloud Swing. And it's an accessible swing set, a very large accessible swing set, which has regular swings, but also swings that can accommodate wheelchairs. And the Grounds is actively working to make the venue more accessible. So there are now touch tours for those who are blind or visually impaired. Visitors who need sign language interpreters can call ahead and schedule a tour. And the Grounds has designated accessible walkways through the park. At the moment, in the visitor center, and I encourage you all to go, it's so wonderful, is an exhibit chronicling the life of J. Seward Johnson, who built the Grounds. Johnson has
had a studio above Rats, which is the restaurant at the grounds, and in that studio recreated Van Gogh's bedroom in Arles. You know, I know you've all seen the picture. I'm not going to be able to describe it, but it's got a lot of golds and greens, and it's Van Gogh's bedroom. And Johnson had that bedroom created, and he wrote in one of his books that, yes, he would go and take naps in there. Well, that same bedroom is in this retrospective on the main floor of the education building, and it's really spectacular and fun to see. And finally, Tuesday, November 28th is Giving Tuesday, and there are several district donor choose projects looking for funding if any of you are so inclined. And I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Mrs. Sloan.
Thank you, Dr. Farrar. Any other board members? Ms. Harvey?
Just an update from the PTA Coalition of Presidents. They met earlier this month. There's currently a district-wide food pantry project. We're trying to collect donations of food for families within our district who need it. So the PTAs have all worked together to coordinate this project. It's an ongoing project. We're hoping that we can sustain the need in our district. So if you would like to volunteer your time, volunteer any information that you might have, donate totes, donate food, then you should get in contact with your own school's PTA, and it's being run by each school together through the presidents. The other thing that is just to let you know that the PTAs have decided to work on a resource book for the PTAs to learn from each other, and so that there's not lost learning, so that when you're a new PTA president or officer, there's a resource for you. So if you are at a school and you feel that your PTA is not being organized in the best way, there are resources out there that we can help you with, so that you should just reach out. There are some schools who don't really have PTAs, and we want to get them there. So we want to encourage that. So if you are at one of those schools and are interested in getting involved, then you should reach out so that we can help you. Thank you. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Any other board members? Okay, I actually just have a few announcements. So as Dr. Rocco said, the CPAG group had met earlier, and I will say it was extremely well attended. We had a wonderful presentation on IEP process, and I encourage anyone that is interested to please come out to the next meeting, December 5th. It's extremely informative, and it's a great resource for not only our parents, community, but also the students. So I encourage anyone that is interested to please come out. And I actually just wanted to take a few moments as we're going into the holiday season, and we have Thanksgiving just a few days away. It's always a time to be thankful and appreciative, and I just want to extend my gratitude to our community. Month to month and every day, you always come out and you work with us as a Board of Education. And we always say, without your input and, we couldn't be successful. So I want to thank you, the community, our students. I would also like to thank my fellow board members for all of your hard work. It takes a lot to sit up here. You do take time away from your families. And I want to thank you very much. I would like to thank our staff. Hamilton Township School District is very fortunate. We have an amazing staff, and I would like to thank our administration. It has not been an easy couple of years. We have definitely been challenged, but everyone has definitely shown how amazing they are, and that's why we are Hamilton Township School District, and that's why we are so wonderful. And I just want to let you all know that you are very appreciated, and I just want to give you all our thanks. So with that, we will move on to our student representatives, and we'll start with Ms. Simpson from Steiner.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Melissa Simpson, and I will be speaking on behalf of Steiner High School. Starting off with sports, our fall sports season is on fire right now. Our boys soccer team has finished 25th in state, and our JV soccer team and JV football team ended the season undefeated. Our cross-country team has qualified for states with an outstanding 152 points, and this is also the first time that the cross-country team has qualified for states since 2016. Our cheer team has honorably been labeled the CBC champions, and there is also special shout-outs to Emily Hardiman for Goalkeeper of the Year and Alyssa Hendrickson for Defender of the Year. There is also a special shout-out for Anthony Derling, who was awarded the Regional American for Soccer. We have our Steiner Marching Band earning first place in their group, receiving the Best Music, Effect, and Visual Award. And our SHS Choir also attended the TCNJ Choir Festival and blessed the crowd with individual solos that were amazing. We had a successful turnout for Steiner's Trick or Treat. The little ones had an amazing time, and high schoolers had a ball decorating the classrooms and competing against each other. Last Wednesday, Steiner recognized the class of 2024 honor students with an award ceremony. The plaques were beautiful. It was an amazing experience for honor students. Spirit Week is currently ongoing. We had our wacky races last Thursday, and this week on Wednesday, we will be having our pep rally as well as our Thanksgiving game on Thanksgiving. Tomorrow, we will be honoring the diversity and different cultures shared in Steiner with our multicultural night tomorrow. And today, we actually finished our Thanksgiving food supply, and now we have very much full boxes waiting for happy families to receive them. Thank you, and have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Ms. Simpson. So we'll move on to Hamilton West. Ms. Ajay?
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board, family, and friends. The students of Hamilton West High School have successfully acclimated and continued the traditions at Hamilton West. Although there are significantly less school days in November, students have still managed to create and participate in many activities and extracurriculars. Speaking of traditions, the National Honor Society held their yearly induction ceremony for new members on November 15th in the West Auditorium. The annual Fall Spirit Week began last Thursday and will continue through the rest of the week. Last Saturday, November 18th, marked the annual Fall Craft Fair at West, which sought to provide a platform for small businesses in Hamilton to present their goods and services and gain more customers. One group that's creating new traditions at West is the Women's United Club, and this new club was founded and led by me and held a clothing swap after school last Friday, where students were able to donate clothes to others and return take some clothes for themselves. The remaining clothes were donated to charity. Some upcoming news is that there will be having a financial aid night at West on November 26th at 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ajay. And last but not least, Nottingham, Ms. Brick.
Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be able to provide an overview of the activities and upcoming events at Nottingham. The dedication of our students, collaboration with our community, and the support of our PTSA have made this academic year exceptional so far. The anticipation is big for the Junior-Senior Social, an event hosted at Cooper's Riverview. Today marked the end of ticket sales, and we are thrilled to witness the excitement among our students at this upcoming event. Nottingham's Holiday Market, sponsored by PTSA, was an enormous success. The event showcased great collaboration between community vendors, volunteers, and our PTSA, emphasizing the strength of our school's partnerships. Going along with PTSA initiatives, the recent tagging event held at ShopRite on Route 33 in Hamilton demonstrated our students' commitment to raising funds for their fellow peers, describing their dedication to our school community. We recently celebrated academic excellence at our academic award ceremony on November 15th, acknowledging students who received academic honors last school year. We recognized first, second, and third year recipients, applauding their commitment to scholarly achievement. Additionally, the National Honor Society induction ceremony on November 29th will be a monumentous occasion as we honor our exceptional members for their dedication and academic achievements. Looking ahead, Mercer County Community College applications at Nottingham are scheduled for December 6th, presenting our students with valuable opportunities for future plans. Our commitment to community service remains steadfast as we prepare for volunteering at Task on December 7th, 11th, and 19th, embodying our school's compassion and students' dedication to helping others. Today marks the commencement of tryouts for girls and boys basketball, signaling the onset of an exciting chapter in our winter sports calendar. In addition, our swimming and ice hockey teams have also begun their journey towards a successful season. Be sure to mark your calendars for opening day, December 7th, for our swim and ice hockey team, as well as December 14th for our basketball, track, and wrestling teams. For those interested, online ticket sales for basketball and wrestling are available through the Nottingham website or social media platforms. We anticipate an enthusiastic turnout to support our teams and demonstrate the pride of our North Star Nation. In the realm of arts, auditions have recently concluded for a spring production of Chicago, highlighting the artistic talents of our students. Lastly, our cheerleaders showcased their skill and dedication, securing second place at the North Beach Championship competition, embodying the strength and talent of our athletic programs. In conclusion, Nottingham High School continues to thrive academically, artistically, and athletically. We are immensely proud of our students' achievements and are committed to creating an environment that fosters their growth and success. Thank you for your continued support in shaping the future of our school, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Ms. Brick. So we'll move on to awards and presentations. So at this time, can we do the Hamilton Education Foundation grant recipients?
Dr. Rocco and Mr. Kanka, would you assist us in giving out the awards?
Too tall now?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Angie Belmont, the Secretary of the Hamilton Ed Foundation. With me tonight is Diana Vazel, Principal of Scion Elementary School. She is also the liaison for the foundation for the school district. We are so happy to give out $8,000 to 9 teachers in the district for writing mini grants that were due September 15th. So it's our pleasure to award those teachers who wrote the grants this evening. First is Jessica Eichhorn, middle school, and her grant was entitled Taking Learning Outside. Next from Nottingham High School is Matthew Koppenhaver, and his grant was entitled Robotics Team 2191 Flux Core. Melissa Brackelli from Klockner Elementary School. Her grant was entitled Kids Who Code with Ozobot. We will make sure that Melissa gets this. From Wilson Elementary School, Janet Nice-Drobich. Her grant was entitled Family Holiday Paranda. Also from Grice Middle School, Samantha Dow and Joseph Hart. Their grant is entitled Standing Desk for Student Use. Battle of the Books, written by Janice Zellens of Kistart Elementary School. From Scion Elementary School, William Leonardo and Wendy Belent, and their grant was titled Organization. Diana Vaza will be accepting on their behalf. Okay, now hold on, hold on.
I want to take a moment to thank the Hamilton Ed Foundation because you are always very supportive of our teachers and also our school district, and they do fundraising, and that fundraising immediately gets turned back around into what you see tonight. So thank you very much, Ed Foundation, for your support.
So we do have the SSDS presentation.
Dr. Altabella is going to give that presentation, and while we do, we'll shuffle around here. Thank you very much. Arrow. Okay. Should we stand in front?
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm up here tonight to present we're required 2 times per year by the state of New Jersey to present SSDS. So what is that? SSDS is the school safety data system. So New Jersey is great with acronyms. Years and years ago it was V&V, violence and vandalism, EVVRS. There's a whole litany of them. Now they've changed it in 2017, 18 to school safety data systems. And what it does is it collects from every school in the state of New Jersey incidents of violence, vandalism, weapon offenses, substance abuse offenses, alleged HIB offenses, confirmed HIB offenses, and any other offense inside of a school that leads to a student being removed from school, so either in school or out of school suspension. So what you're looking at, or what you'll see, is a year-over-year comparison, full year snapshot now because the data has been released. So this is the elementary division. I think it's important when you're looking at these numbers to have perspective. So we have roughly 5,800 elementary students in the district. And last year we had 108 total incidents that were reported to the SSDS. So that's roughly 1% of the population engaged in a behavior that required us to report that. So 99% of our elementary students are not engaging in any behaviors that involve violence, vandalism, substance abuse, weapons, or HIBs. So that's a good thing. At the end, you're going to see the HIB trainings and the programs that the district does. The gold is what we did in 22-23 versus the black, which was 21-22. So obviously you can see an increase in programs, which is a good thing because we continue to try and bring programs in. This is a snapshot of the secondary division. You're looking at roughly 7,000 students in the secondary division. So when you're looking at the total number of incidents of 423 total incidents out of roughly 7,000, you're looking at 97.7% of our kids in the secondary division are not engaging in any behavior that would meet the legal threshold to be considered violence, vandalism, substance abuse, weapons, HIB. In the secondary division, HIB confirmed and HIB alleged are both down. The most troubling one that we are focusing our attention on coming out of this is obviously the substance abuse piece. We had 92 incidents last year in the secondary division, so that's something that we're focusing on. And then I will give you a So if you're looking here, this is a district-wide overall comparison. So again, I think it's important to remember we're talking about roughly 11,500 students district-wide. So to give you perspective, if you take the total incidents at 531, that means that 96.4% of our students across the district are not engaging in any behavior. That's a good thing. If you look at violence, 98% of our students are not engaging in any behaviors that would be classified by the state as violent behaviors. 99% of our students are not involved in vandalism. We're proud of that. 99% of our students are not involved in our substance abuse, but that's not good enough. So we're going to continue to expand what we're doing with our students and continue to expand our programs because we want that to be 100%. 99% of our students weren't engaged in behavior that would be classified as bringing a weapon to school. 99% of our kids are not involved in HIBs that have been confirmed district-wide. 98% of our kids are not involved in HIBs that are alleged. And while I stand here and you look at that suspension number of 996, and that is alarming, I think it's to give you perspective. There's 11,500 students. Each of them go to school for 180 days. That's 2,070,000 potential days. We had students out for 996 out of 2,070,000. So we're talking about less than 1% of the available days were students suspended. Is that good? No. But to give perspective, millions and millions of school days we put in last year without having incidents. So we're going to continue to work on that. We're proud of the HIB trainings and the HIB programs going up. Do we have areas to continue to work on? We do, but we have a lot of data that we should be proud of because we have 24 buildings. We have 11,500 students, and like I said, 2,070,000 potential days. That's a lot of opportunity for violence. That's a lot of opportunity for vandalism, for weapons offenses, for HIBs, for all of these things. And our numbers are indiscriminately low. So we're proud of that. So thank you for your time. As you know, you can always reach out if you have any questions. Happy to meet with you and discuss it. But like I said, we're proud of the data. We have areas that we're going to continue to work, but we're doing good things. And that's a testament to the staff and to the administration at the building levels. It is certainly not anything that we are doing at the central office level. It is the work of the people in the buildings that make this happen. Thank you.
Dr. Altabello, I just want to point out that these statistics are really only good year to year in that the incidents that you report with the black bar as opposed to the gold bar are not necessarily the same students because we have a very transient population. So it's not really comparing apples to apples.
No, and we're not required. What the state does not require us to show a year-over-year comparison. It just requires us to present this year's data, but I think it's important for perspective. But to your point, you could have a situation where you had a number of students who were seniors last year that engaged in behaviors that are no longer in the school. This is not going to be indicative of that. That's not going to show. You could have a number of students who were with us last year who have transferred out and have moved. That's not going, we're not correlating that data to this report. We're just simply showing you the numbers based on what we have to report to the state. A lot of districts don't put this information up. They don't show graphs. They don't show comparisons. They just sort of gloss over it because it's required. But we're not embarrassed by the information that we're presenting. We're proud of the information that we're presenting because, like I said, the size and scope of this district and the number of opportunities for incidents like this to happen and the fact that 99% of our kids are not engaging in that, at times we lose that perspective, especially us, right? Because as members of the board, as senior staff, sometimes we spend an inordinate amount of time in board hearings for students who engage in some of these behaviors because it's required. And you have a tendency to sort of be conditioned to think that that is the norm, and it is not. It is not the norm in the Hamilton Township schools. 99% of our kids are not engaging in these behaviors, and that's a good thing. We have 1% of the population that we are going to continue to work as hard as we can on. But to your point, it is not indicative. It is not apples to apple comparison.
Right, and I just wanted the community to understand that you know it's not comparing the same group of kids every year.
And I think the other thing that I think is important, and I don't want to steal Mrs. Furlado's thunder as the district anti-bullying coordinator, but one of the things that I'm proud of the district is having worked in 5 districts in 3 different counties, there are districts who the state of New Jersey does give discretion to principals at the onset of an HIB to take some information in and make a determination as to whether or not an investigation has to happen. So in some districts, they will use that discretion very liberally to deflate their HIB numbers. We don't do that here because we don't find that to be a good practice. We over-investigate situations that are coming to us that could be considered HIB because our perspective is we would rather do an investigation, a full investigation in accordance with the law, and have it come out not to be harassment, intimidation, and bullying than to simply make an arbitrary determination at the onset that it doesn't even deserve to be investigated. And there are districts who do that, and we don't. So
I have a question about
Yes, sir.
that. So in some districts, they'll have an HIB, and it turns out to be conflict. No one gets any consequence because it was basically nothing. 2 kids had conflict. Someone or a family member said, I think this kid's bullying me, and it was a farce.
Mm-hmm.
So I assume in that number, if we investigate all of them, a portion of them are just conflict.
a portion of them are found not to be HIB.
Well, not that, but also no one's getting consequence because no one was really doing anything wrong, but the family reported as HIB.
Sure.
If the policy is to investigate all of them. Does that hurt our district scores? Because we have alleged HIBs that were not, but we followed through as if they could be and found they weren't?
No, it doesn't impact our scores because we are not evaluated in any way by the state by the number. We just have to report the number, right? So in that instance, some of the things that potentially on the surface look to be conflict, and many times through investigation, those are the ones that are coming out as alleged and not found.
Yeah.
Right? But we're not concerned about that. When you think about that, just take these numbers. We did last year roughly 215 HIB investigations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a lot of investigations.
Yes.
There's some districts that do 5 in a year, 10 in a year. We do, 20 in a month or more, some months. But we're not embarrassed by that. We're proud of that because, like I said, we're transparent in our process, which is important. Yes.
I just wanted to also add that as part of my experience as a board member, even when it's not a confirmed HIB, we still might offer resources to the involved students so that we can prevent future incidents. So I think our job in doing these investigations is very good and that we have a good response so that students can learn throughout the process.
Well, and I think the other thing too is just because something is not harassment, intimidation, and bullying, it could be conflict, number one. The other thing is, it certainly, while it may not meet the legal definition to be harassment, intimidation, and bullying, it certainly could be something that violates our code of conduct, right? So you could have something there that was found to be an alleged HIB, but a student was suspended because the conflict was something else, or the interaction was something else. It didn't meet the legal definition because HIB is really tied to the language of the law. But again, it's part of the process.
Yeah, it's tightly defined, HIB.
It is. So, and I feel like I'm stealing all of Mrs. Furlado's thunder. I apologize. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Can you comment to the nature of the, basically of the substance infractions that we're finding? Is there an increase in intoxication on site or?
So my assumption, and I know you shouldn't assume, but here is my assumption. The numbers of incidents that we are reporting as substance is significantly rising with the change in laws in the state of New Jersey. So when the state legalized marijuana for the public, it is not legal, obviously, for anybody under the age of 18, and it is certainly not legal to have on school property. We used to, when marijuana was illegal in the state of New Jersey, if we had a student who, let's say, had a vape pen, which we were unable to determine whether it was nicotine or it was tobacco, we had a system, we would send the child out for a drug test. If the drug test came back confirmed, then we would assume that that was now, because of the way the law is, we assume every student who has a vape pen may be under the influence of, because we have no way to validate that liquid. We used to be able to do that because we used to be able to give it to the police and we would get a result back. That doesn't happen anymore because the law changed. And with that law change, access potentially has increased. So again, I'm just giving you what my assumption is based on those numbers, but we are not seeing an increase in any illicit substance that would raise our level of concern outside of marijuana. Marijuana is the prevalent substance that you're finding in these numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Altobello. Can we go into the committee reports? We will start with Dr. Ferrara for curriculum and instruction.
Changing it up here, are you?
I am.
Good evening, everyone. The Curriculum and Instruction Committee met on November 16th. The regular committee members were joined by Ms. Soto. We had a relatively light agenda. Our committee received an update from Dr. Rocco that he discussed this evening. We were briefed about the 3-year planned renovation of the high school auditoriums, which Mr. Kanka will certainly speak about. We were briefed about HR matters from Mrs. Thornton, and there are a couple things coming up for votes tonight, including a new job description and increased substitute pay. Mr. Scotto opened our meeting with a report on the district's in-service day for teachers that was held on Election Day. The district provided a robust menu of learning opportunities, all taught by a variety of teachers, administrators, and curriculum supervisors. The day was hybrid. Teachers had part of their schedules designed by their supervisors, while also having opportunities to choose learning opportunities of interest to them. In an effort to close some of the learning gaps seen post-pandemic, Mr. Scotto has moved to hire a company to send tutors into elementary school classrooms. 6 vendors were asked for responded to RFPs, which are requests for proposals. The New Jersey Tutoring Corporation was selected. The goal of this tutoring program is to have this company provide 17 tutors, 1 for each elementary school. There will be 17 weeks of targeted support using tutors with small groups in classrooms. Students will be identified by teachers and staff as having needs, and it will be done in what is called tutor as center model. For those parents who have kids in school, you probably know what centers are. They're little spaces that teachers set up either to reinforce something that students have learned, and they go through the centers during a portion of the school day. So you might go in and reinforce something, you might have a student explore a new concept before you introduce it, and the tutor as center model will be students in need will go to that center and work with the tutor on gaps, essentially. So, for example, if the student didn't learn how to carry the 1s to the 10s column correctly, the tutor might spend time with a group of students reinforcing that so that they do it correctly. ESSER funds will pay for this support. The board will be asked to approve it under Finance and Operations, Motion 8, number 3. We also had a cursive writing update. Mr. Scotto looked at various online options for parents and students to use who are looking for more to do with cursive writing. During that process, Mr. Scotto realized using online resources could become somewhat cumbersome due to the need to have codes or passwords to post on the district website. Consequently, he reached out to a district teacher who we were told has a passion for cursive. It wasn't Ms. Glonick, because remember, she's retired, but probably, you know, someone Ms. Glonick knows, or maybe even taught. That teacher will be involved in creating videos for the district website. Having the district post its own videos gives everyone in the community access. The videos will focus on 4 main areas: capital letters, lowercase letters, connecting letters to create words and signatures, and writing sentences. The board is being asked to approve additional compensation for this because the teacher who has been identified is going to work, I presume, with Mr. D'Elia to make these videos, and that's HR motion number 6. The other motion coming before the committee tonight is found under CNI, motion 5, which is to accept the report that Dr. Altabello just presented, and a reminder that CNI motion 2 has been moved to December, so we are not voting on that tonight. And our next committee meeting will be December 13th.
Thank you, Dr. Ferrara. Any questions? Okay. Mr. Kenka, would you like to give us the Finance and Operation Committee report?
Yes, the committee met on the morning of November the 8th. I would like to thank those from the senior staff who attended and committee members. Very first thing we got into was general communications from Dr. Rocco. Then we moved into our initiative items. The very first item on the agenda was our work order process for our facilities department. We're looking to move into a non-paper or a paperless type of format, completing everything electronically. Very, very preliminary on what we're doing right now. And as things progress, I will give you those progressions as they come forward. We also moved into the high school auditorium renovation. The sequencing of that renovation is going to be a 3-year project. There's going to be multiple phases in the project. Phase 1, 24-23 budget, inclusive of ESSER 3 funds. It's going to be a Nottingham ceiling work, abatement work, HVAC, purchasing, temporary ceiling and lighting, plus a sound system and a stage lift, Steinert sound system, West sound system and stage lift. Part of phase 1 in the summer of 25, the balance of the Nottingham work with the ceiling, the HVAC, final lighting, HVAC install, flooring and seating in the summer of 25. Phase 2, a bid for the 24-25 budget in the summer of 25, Steinert ceiling work, abatement, HVAC, ordering, et cetera, similar to Nottingham. In the summer of 26, the balance of the Steiner work will be completed. And as we move into phase 3, under 25-26, it'll be the West Auditorium for similar items that are listed from the previous schools. We also we had a discussion which Mrs. Thornton talked to us about the SRO officers. She will be, I guess, presenting that in her discussion. She'll give you more details on what was discussed, but we had a discussion on that. Also up for renewal this year is our contract with our construction manager, New Roads. There's an extension to extend the contract through October of 24, and help with the completion of the 24 projects. The motion's on tonight's agenda, and there is no monthly fee increases in that contract. There was a discussion on a donation from the Steiner Booster Club for some seating that's on the baseball field. Apparently there's some old school wooden benches that are there, and they're going to be removed, and some new seating will be put in place. That is also on tonight's agenda, and from a donation from the Booster Club. There was also a discussion, this is probably a multiple discussion that we had on a prom request for reconsideration. The board or the committee has also affirmed their previous commitment not to allow that to move forward. Then we went into, there's been a lot of emails floating around about track fencing and signage on the new tracks. Previously, we had stated that we were not going to allow the opening of those tracks until all the fencing was completed and all the signage was in place. But due to some back ordering of fencing on the Nottingham fence, we are moving forward after the football season to install the fencing, the completed fencing around Steinert and around West with signage to get those two tracks open. And then when the fencing comes in for Nottingham, it will be installed and the signage will be put up. There was, I want to thank Dr. Rocco for keeping this committee updated on the cyber breach that was that had come before the school with the insurance company and all that, and Director O'Boyle for giving us a detailed report in that, and we're appreciative of that, those updates. And that concludes my report. I mean, we also, you know, there was some items that Mrs. Farrar, Dr. Farrar went into with the curriculum, and there's also some items from HR that will be discussed by Mrs. Thornton. Other than that, that's really, that concludes my report. If I can move into negotiations.
Please.
There's been some preliminary conversations. We had a meeting with the committee and the administrative staff on, you know, what we're looking for and what we're looking to work with the HTEA, and we're hoping to get those talks started as soon as possible. And I just one other thing, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and you know, we all sit here and we throughout the year, and we beat each other up within the committee itself, and the folks out there, they give us, you know, their opinions on a lot of things, but this is the season of giving and receiving, and I just want to make sure that we just continue that effort throughout the whole year for with the board, with the community, and with the board within themselves, and with the administration. So have a happy holiday, and I wish the best for everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Kanka. So before I move on to the Personnel Committee report, Dr. McSheen, do you have a report from the DCR committee?
I sure do.
Thank you.
So hello, everyone. The District Community Relations, or DCR committee, met on November 14th in the beautiful library and media center of Grice Middle School. We had a fantastic and energetic turnout of teachers, parents, and community members. My fellow board member, Stacy Byrne, also attended, in addition to Dr. Altabell, Dr. Copeland, and Dr. Rocco. At the top of the meeting, I provided a Board of Education update based on the proceedings of the October BOE public meeting. Our Director of HR, Dr. Dennis Copeland, provided some helpful context for why and how HTSD is seeking to improve recruitment and retention of teachers. This included partnerships, recruitment efforts and recruitment efforts at New Jersey universities like TCNJ, Rider, Rowan, Montclair, William Patterson, and Keene. He also reminded us that most of us cannot name the last 5 Grammy winners for Artist of the Year or the last 5 Super Bowl winners, but we can name 5 teachers who have impacted our lives. And this really helps set the tone for the evening. Our chair, Amanda Asquith, then had our participants break out into groups to collect feedback and brainstorm on each of the following topics: climate and culture, curriculum and community, recruitment and retention, and suspension findings. The goal of these breakout groups is to help inform and advise the district about positive directions we can take to improve our adherence to our equity plan. Among these breakout groups, some key items that we are currently exploring and discussed that night are mental health, community resources and partnerships, special education improvements, attendance improvements, revision to suspension and restorative practice policies, cursive writing, and more. If these topics are interesting to you or you have something else you want to bring to the table, please consider joining the DCR. We are not meeting in December because it's a busy month for everyone. So our next meeting will be at 5 p.m. on January 16th at Wilson Elementary Library. That's 5 p.m. January 16th at Wilson Elementary. Finally, thank you for everyone who spends their time volunteering to help their voices be heard in a constructive environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McSheen. For the Personnel Committee, we did meet on November 8th. Thank you for everyone that was in attendance. Dr. Rocco updated us on several items which were mentioned in curriculum instruction, as well as Finance and Operation Committee. We did discuss some HR initiatives you will see on the agenda for this evening. We did discuss a job description for HR Assistant Director. We also discussed the revised substitute rate, which will align with the state of New Jersey minimum wage increase. We also discussed looking into options to further enhance our security within our school district. And we also looked at our vacancies, which Dr. Copeland, thank you so much. You've always done such a wonderful job keeping us informed on vacancies within the school. And I thank you and your staff and administration for working so hard to fill those vacancies. So thank you very much. And that concludes my report for personnel, unless any other personnel committee members have anything that they would like to add. No? Okay, so I actually, Dr. Rocco has a very exciting announcement to make.
So it's on the personnel end, and hopefully this individual is not watching right now. This person should be either sleeping or holding his new baby son. So we want to congratulate Mr. O'Boyle and his wife Kim on their first child, a son, Jack, who is home with them right now. And he sent me a picture yesterday of him holding Jack. Mr. O'Boyle has a Giants jersey on. They were watching the Giants game, and Jack brought us good luck, us Giants fans.
Thank you, Dr. Rocco. So now we're going to move on to the monthly suspension report. Any questions? Comments? Okay. The monthly HIB report. Questions? The monthly health report. Any questions? Okay, so at this time, we'll move on to hearing of the public on agenda items. Do I have anyone signed up for the agenda items?
No.
On agenda items? Okay.
Can you bring that to us, Mr. Scott?
So this is the public session comment on agenda items. You do have 4 minutes. We ask that when you come up to the microphone, just be courteous and respectful and keep an eye on the time allotted. And just please state your name. Maritza Blumenthal?
Yes. Sorry, I'm kind of short. Maritza B. I live in Hamilton.
Yes, please.
I came here today to talk about HIB. I believe there needs to be sorry, I'm a little nervous. I believe there needs to be more communication when it comes to HIB investigation results, specifically letting teachers and aides know about investigations from one year to the next. Earlier this year, my husband and I unfortunately came to the realization that the lunch aides may not have been made aware that some students should be separated, and a disturbing incident occurred as a result. I don't believe this incident met the criteria for a HIB investigation, but it was bullying nonetheless. It does seem that despite Mrs. Walters' continued efforts, there's a big issue at the school with the use of language that is not appropriate for anyone to use, let alone elementary school children. I wholeheartedly believe that this is an issue that starts at home, and like someone stated at the last meeting, teachers have enough to handle and shouldn't have to focus on these types of things. Thankfully, the wonderful teachers we have in the district do intervene as needed, but it's surprising that some parents don't seem to be taking these issues seriously. Parents truly have to start raising their children, or stepping up and raising their children to do better. None of us have perfect angels at home, but we should still be teaching them to treat each other with decency and especially not to use racist language, especially anywhere, let alone in elementary school. I also want to know, what is the process if a student has multiple HIB investigations and has bullied several students? What happens at that point when whatever interventions implemented to try and mitigate the bullying have apparently failed? What more can parents do to advocate for our children when they are being bullied by the same student, especially if it may not meet the official criteria for an HIB investigation? That's all I have.
Thank you. So Ms. Blumenthal, if you don't mind, if you could leave your name with and contact information with Dr. Altavello, so that we can get some response for you, okay? Being that there is no one else signed up for this portion of a public comment, we'll move on to curriculum and instruction. Dr. Ferrara, can you take us through curriculum and instruction?
I certainly will. Upon the recommendation of the superintendent, I move item 1 and 3 through 9.
Second.
We have any questions or comments on agenda items 1 and then 3 through 9, curriculum and instruction?
Yeah.
Mr. Salantano.
Madam President, I am sorry. I just want just a little information or clarity. Well, the clarity is there. I'm just wondering. The 2 grants, which are great. So does that mean, well, I can read it so I know what it means, but the $230,000, is that what we were in arrears and that's what that grant is going to cover? Or would cover if we're successful?
Yes, that is correct. We will not most likely get all of that money, but we figured let's put out the maximum we might be eligible for to address that issue. And it's Mr. Salantano, thank you for bringing that up. Let the community know that it's there to offset student lunch debt, which we've been working internally for many years. And Ms. Atwood's office has done an outstanding job on helping families get signed up for free and reduced lunch, and also informing them when students have debt. But this is an issue that we've been battling for a couple of years.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Ms. Atwood, can you take us through roll call?
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yes, but abstain on item 8D.
Soto?
Yes.
Ms. Byrne?
Yes.
Mr. Salantano?
Yes.
Dr. Farrar?
Yes.
Thornton?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Mr. Kanka, can you take us through finance and operation?
Yes, as per recommendation of the superintendent, I move finance and operation motions 1 through 14.
Second.
Do we have any questions or comments on motion 1 through 14, finance and operation? Mr. Kanka?
I just wanted to clarify something to the board and to the public that was not in my report. There was we had a discussion on the boiler situation at Crockett School. We had 2 boilers there that one was down and the other one went down. And what our facilities department did was they cannibalized parts for one boiler to make the second boiler work. So on tonight's agenda, there's a motion 13 for a professional service agreement to get those boilers replaced at Crockett School. I neglected to bring that up in my report. So I just want to make sure everybody is aware of why we're doing this. The boilers that are in there now are the original boilers, and there's just no longer parts available for those boilers. So we want to move to replace those boilers out of the capital reserve.
Thank you, Mr. Kanka.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Dr. Farrar?
So, Mr. Kanka, what we're approving is for Spiesel to come in and figure out what needs to be done and map it out?
Get the paperwork in order and get the bid process started.
Okay, and so how's the school running on one boiler? Okay, not okay?
Right now, yeah, it's okay, but we're on borrowed time with this.
And so do we have a timeline? I mean, I know sometimes this takes a long time with the RFPs and stuff.
We're hoping that we can get this as soon as possible.
Okay.
So whenever we can get this approved, we get the wheels going, Spiesel can get going, and then we can get the process out, and hopefully we'll get it out hopefully before the end of the year.
So we could possibly get it done before the end of the year? Okay.
Yes. Well, not get done, but get the process where the bidding process.
Okay.
Gets done before the end of the year, so we don't have any more issues before. And I'm hoping that we can, we can get this thing started as soon as possible. As we all know, there's supply line problems with getting equipment in. Sometimes some equipment's taken, 26 to 78 weeks to get in. So we're just hoping that this is not going to be a problem here with this.
Okay.
This just popped right up, so.
Mr. Salantano?
Listening to our problems every month with regards to the boilers and this mechanical and that mechanical. Richard, I probably should address this to you, and probably should do it at one of our committee meetings, but just sort of throw it out there in case anybody has an idea. Aren't there any alternate options that we could try to look at to remove and replace some of this equipment that's fallen apart? There has to be some other energy sources out there that we may be able to replace this stuff with in the future. I mean, it just seems like I can't say every meeting, but a couple times a year, this boiler goes down, this doesn't work. And these schools are old, but they're not all old, like this is a newer school. But my question is there anything out there that we can look into or think about or research, I probably should say, to try to replace these things in the future? Because the boilers aren't cheap and the architect work isn't cheap. I mean, there has to be something out there. I'll check it out on Google. I'll look into it myself, but if anybody knows of anything right now, let's see if it helps. I don't know. I'm just getting to the point where every now and then we have something that's fallen apart. If it isn't refrigeration, it's a boiler. If it isn't that, it's the heater, it's this.
Well, I'll expand on that a little bit, Mr. Salantano.
Please.
We have 24 buildings in this district, actually 25, 27. And we have hundreds of pieces of equipment. And this may be a newer school, but the school is 40 years old, and that's how old these boilers are. And we change multiple pieces of equipment every single year, literally dozens of boilers, air handlers, ventilation units. We have a process that we're going through, and we're doing what we can with what we have, and nobody can predict a mechanical failure or a breakdown. If anybody can do that, I would like to have a long, serious talk with them, because
Two of us.
we like I said, we spend millions of dollars every year replacing equipment in this district. So between equipment like air handlers, boilers, air conditioning units, roofs, windows, we spend a lot of money, and we just you can't predict when the next thing is going to break.
Yeah, but
So
boilers are really what I'm zeroing in on, because of the fact that it's a heating source, okay? What I'm asking is, does anybody know of, or is there any way that these pieces of equipment in the future could be replaced with state-of-the-art current technology?
well, that's what we're doing right now.
But it's a boiler again.
The boilers are, all the new boilers that are going in now are state-of-the-art, and they're tied into our new, we make sure that those boilers are tied into our new building management system, which the boiler at Crockett, since it's the original boiler, was tied into our system, but it doesn't run as efficient or operate the same way as many of the boilers that we have been changing over the past 4 or 5 years. But the new ones that are coming in now, and as we all know, the way things are in today's society, we'll be lucky if we get 40 years out of this new set of boilers. It's not like it was years ago, so.
And they don't look like the boilers that you're probably thinking
They
about.
look like big hot water heaters if
Yeah,
you look
they're
at them.
huge.
I'm even thinking beyond that, a different type of technology,
It is a different kind of
Yeah, but
technology.
it's still a boiler, right, that
But
generates.
it's electronic, it's very
It's not like,
different.
it's not like where you need it's not like the old boiler operators when they used to open up the door and shovel the coal in.
Well, I
These
thought
are-
he was describing my house. when
These
he
are
was saying, like-
state-of-the-art pieces of equipment that run about as efficient as you can get. And when you increase the efficiency, you also increase the chances of multiple breakdowns with electronics. So, fortunately, we have a good backup system with this, with our electronics, and I think we've been pretty successful. And like I said, we've been living on borrowed time with a lot of these boilers over the years. Just like we just were in the process with the Yardville Heights School. We had to replace those two for the same reason, because of age. But we're gaining on it. We can't, I would like to change them all in 1 year, but we just, we'd have to float a bond to do that, so.
The boilers are like almost 7 feet tall, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they're huge.
No, I'm thinking
Well,
of,
the
I'm
ones that
thinking
are
of,
coming out are much bigger.
I'm thinking of a nuclear reactor in a.
Well,
we could do that.
wouldn't we all like a nuclear reactor?
You may have a problem with Greenpeace on that one.
See all the
Mr. Kanka,
commotion that
thank you
would-
very much
see all
for the
commotion that would cause,
clarification. If there are no other questions, comments, Ms. Atwood, can you take us through roll call?
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Ms. Harvey?
Yes.
Mr. Kanka?
Yes.
Dr. McSheen?
Yes.
Soto? Yes. Spurn?
Abstain. Number 10, bills list, page 18, line 9. Yes to the rest.
Mr. Salantano?
Yes.
Dr. Farrar?
Yes.
Thornton?
Yes.
Motion's passed.
Mr. Gonzalez, can you take us through personnel items?
Upon recommendation of the superintendent, I would like to move items 1 through 15.
Second.
Do we have any questions or comments on personnel items 1 through 15? Okay, I would like to go through our retirements. We actually have one retirement for this evening. Educational assistant at Hamilton High School North, 8 years in Hamilton, Karen White. We thank you for your time and dedication, and we wish you all the best in retirement. There are no other questions or comments on personnel. Ms. Atwood, can you take us through roll call?
Mr. Gonzalez,
Yes.
Ms. Harvey,
Yes.
Mr. Kanka,
Yes.
Dr. Machine,
Yes.
Soto,
Yes.
Ms. Byrne,
Abstain 14, yes to the rest.
Mr. Salantano,
Yes, no on 14.
Dr. Farrar,
Yes.
Thornton.
Yes.
Motion's passed.
So at this time, we're going to go into other business. Do any board members have any items of other business that they would like to discuss? Ms. Byrne?
It was a busy month. I attended the NJSBA workshop. I was able to attend our mandatory training as well as other interesting classes like Robert's Rules. I also attended the CPAG meeting. Props to Ms. Ordino, who facilitated an interesting and professional speaker on IEPs. I joined Dr. McSheen for DCR. It was very well attended, and there was great dialogue with the community. And last but not least, I attended the Veterans Appreciation Assembly at McGalliard. There were 24 veterans recognized, and a shout out to Mrs. Morales, who always does a great job instilling McGalliard pride. And I'd also like to wish the community and my colleagues a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Mrs. Byrne. Would anybody else have any comments? Okay. Mr. Salantano, did you have something under other business?
No, I'm just, you said comment. My comment is that I just want to extend my well wishes and happy and healthy Thanksgiving to all.
Well, thank you. So I actually do have an item under other business. Let me first, I'd like to congratulate Mrs. Soto and Mrs. Harvey and Mrs. Stanton on the election. We look forward to you joining us. We look forward to continuing to work with everyone. But I would like to discuss our reorg meeting in January. I'd like to try to get that on the agenda now because we're going into the holiday season so that everyone can plan accordingly. And we do have Mrs. Stanton here, so we're hoping to be able to select a date that works for everyone. And I'm going to start off with, is January 3rd a possibility?
Hold on.
Yeah, the week.
Doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Funny guy.
January 3rd, I think I should be sober by that night. Yeah, that's good.
Stanton, January 3rd? Okay.
That's fine.
I
Mr.
cannot
Kanka.
do the 3rd.
You can't do January 3rd? Okay.
I have a hangover.
I could do the 2nd or the 4th.
All right, compromise the 4th is.
Thursday, the 4th? Because we have to do it within so many days of the first of the year, so I just want to make sure that we're conscious of
I
that.
could do it on the 1st.
Would you not?
On your front lawn, we can all come
Yes.
over and carol.
So how about
Thursday
the
the 4th?
4th?
It's good. Everybody-
Thursday, the 4th? We usually do 5 or 5:30?
5:30?
I got 4 o'clock if you want.
So 5:30, January 4th, which is a Thursday, 2024.
You okay?
Okay,
5:30?
5:30,
Location to be determined.
yes.
Back in the
If it's
boardroom?
nice out, maybe we'll go to the boathouse.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so thank you very much for that. I would also like to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, a very healthy and happy holiday season. And as I said before, it is a time to be thankful. And we do have a lot to be thankful for. So I wish you all the best and spending time with your families and friends. And now I'm going to go to public comment. So we have hearing of the public on school-related matters. I do have a few individuals signed up. I will call each of you individually. Just remember, we do have a 4-minute time allotment. And when I do call you up to the microphone, just again, please keep your comments courteous and respectful, and please state your name and address when you come up to the microphone. Janice Glonick.
Well, we'll just work with it.
Get it?
Stand on this.
Michael's coming.
Should have a little step stool. Should have a step stool out there.
Oh, yeah, just turn the screw. Okay, very good. Thank you. Janice Glonick, 432 Trinity Avenue. You almost had the perfect Thanksgiving because I was almost not here because I thought the meeting was on Wednesday. And I just found out at 2 o'clock today that it was tonight. So I had to hurry up and throw some notes together. And so unfortunately, you do not have the perfect Thanksgiving because I'm here. Okay, I'm so glad you passed cursive writing. Last month, I mentioned how I think it should continue in the 4th and 5th grades, where they not only have to write their name, but they have to learn how to write sentences, paragraphs, and also be able to read it. And that's could also start in the 3rd grade, the last quarter, where they, like I said, they have a sentence where they have to put it in cursive writing, and the cursive writing, they have to print it to show that they can read it. In the 4th and 5th grade, it should be mandated so they have time to do it and check for neatness and correctness. And they should have to have their name in cursive, do their spelling tests and certain answers on tests. And by 5th grade, they should maybe have to write their essays in cursive. You need also to check that all the schools are doing it. Last year, there was one school where one 3rd grade teacher was doing it and the other was not. And so it needs to be like tested at the end of each year to make sure it's being done. And I know I have several school board members who are with me this 100% on that idea. I'd like to hear in a month or two if you really like the idea of doing this. I like the video thing. I don't know whether that was going to every class or whatever, or just the parents. But and if you think that's a good idea, which I think it is, to keep it going in 4th and 5th grade, and increasing the handwriting and the reading of it. And if you do think that's a good idea, I would like to announce at the school board meeting what it is and what your plans are for implementing it. Because if you're going to do a job, you need to do it right all the way. And it'd be nice if Hamilton Township became the example for other districts to follow in doing cursive writing. A lot of the teachers were blown out of the water. Of course, the math is going. At their workshop, they found out that the time tests are no more, that they don't have to know their facts. I mean, you need to know your facts. I mean, every time I do my checkbook, I'm glad I can add, divide, subtract, and multiply. But just check their phones. If they have a dead battery, then they can't do their math. I mean, they should need to do their facts. But they said that no time test because it's too stressful. I find that a bit hard to believe, and I really think you need to know your facts. And then the other thing is the heating. Heat doesn't come on till 6 o'clock in the morning, I was told. And the schools are like really cold, and you have a really cold weekend, and you come in and you have windows that are one side of the room and no sun, and it is really chilly in there. And I mean, it's like nuts. And then you just start to get warm, and all of a sudden all the doors open because the kids are coming in at 8:30, and 12 o'clock, all the kids are going out for lunch and coming in for recess. And so it really needs to maybe come on at 4 o'clock in the morning instead of 6 o'clock, so we get the buildings warm. You always can cool it down, but trying to get it warm when you keep opening and closing doors is going to be a bit of a problem. It's like even here today, this is cold. I practically put my gloves on, but that needs to be done, to be looked into. Especially we have one wing that has problems that should have been fixed 30 years ago, but the way it was connected didn't work. So we're still working on that area because one room was 61 degrees at 1:45 in the afternoon. That's not good. And on that note, then, I would just like to say, wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, which should be really happy now because you're done with me till next month. Okay? Have a good one.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Ms. Klonick, but I think you have that it would not be the same without you here. So now it is a perfect Thanksgiving because you were here. You're very welcome. Ms. Kimberly Cordella?
Okay. So my name is Kimberly. I'm 133 Rutgers Avenue. So I'm here tonight to talk on behalf of Nottingham PTSA. I'm sure you're aware that recently there's been some issues at Nottingham High School about lunch. We get to period 7 and not all the students have the opportunity to get lunch. We're kind of running out of food and they're hungry. It's been a problem. So as a PTSA, we're trying to figure out, what can we do for our school community to help them? Giving them food is our new idea. We would love to be able to buy them lunch, maybe once a marking period, on a grand scale of buying lunch for, all 1,000 students. So we floated this idea with our principal, and although he thought the idea was great, because the kids are always hungry, even if they've had lunch, they're still hungry, he said it's probably a no because of our contract with Aramark, which the PTSA understands. However, it's an issue. The kids are hungry, so I'm here to ask you, what can we do? We have the funds because you guys were so gracious and gave us last Saturday as a freebie. We were able to make a lot of money, and we really want to spend that on the students. We still have the money to help with the senior prom, but this is something that we want to be able to do for all of them. So contract aside, is there something that we as PTSA can do to provide our students with a meal every now and then? That's it. I'll leave you with that.
Ms. Cordella? So we do have your name and we do know your contact information. We will absolutely be reaching out to you to discuss that with you. Okay? Lisa Linkowski?
Good evening, Lisa Linkowski, member of Hamilton Township Community Supporting Education. I have a few items. The first, I wanted to congratulate the 3 new board members that will be put into place for 2024, Megan Stanton, Denise Soto, and Christina Harvey. The deadline to apply for 2024 is in July, and the HTCSE will post the candidate packet as we get a little bit closer. There will be 3 more seats up again, so the whole circle continues on. We were thinking that a couple months ago, when there were students that they performed before you guys went to executive session. We were thinking maybe you might want to continue doing that. When I arrived this evening, there was no parking at all to be found on Parkway down the street. Just wonder if maybe people weren't able to come just because of access. Plus, this is a smaller venue. Calendar input. Thank you for asking the community for our input, even though that seems to have riled people up. They ask for more transparency, and then they get angry and literally said it was a disgrace that you asked for their input, just asking a question. So, yeah. I thank you very much for that. I do want to ask, how can the public help to move the elections out of our schools? That seems to be a wall that we keep coming to. And if there's something that the public can do and get involved in, please, by all means, let us know so that we can try, because it does continuously be this big problem here. I was at the Hamilton High West Craft Fair this past Saturday, and a former Hamilton High School West teacher was directed toward me because she was very upset. And she was upset because she found out that the pool has been closed for several years. She was very angry about that and said, if this was Steinert's pool, would it be allowed to go on like that? This always comes down to the haves and have-nots. And I assured her that equity is a big issue in our district. But I told her also to come tonight. She's not here, so I'm speaking on her behalf. She also talked about that. She said the teachers are very upset because they don't have access to the superintendent. She said years past, there used to be an open door policy, and she said once a month that the teachers somehow were able to come together and be able to come to the superintendent and speak to them about issues. I don't know anything about any of this. I'm just passing this along because it was told to me, and again, she's not here. Ms. Galanick, the next meeting is the 20th of December, and it is a Wednesday, I just checked. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and thank you once again for all that you do.
Chanel Vickers Ames.
Hello. Now I feel like I need to squat. Chanel, a Hamilton resident. So I know that there's standing rules or inside of the code of conduct for each school. But my concern is, are there rules to the standing rules? So my biggest issue, I guess, would be the no book bags in the hallways. I don't know if this is for all three of the middle schools or just one particular middle school. So they're allowed to carry drawstring backpacks, but then they're supposed to carry their supplies. My son is on his 5th drawstring backpack since the beginning of the school year. I think that's a problem, especially when we don't offer insurance for the laptops, which I have asked for multiple times. So I think we need to find a happy medium there somewhere. I know I'm not the only parent that is questioning that one. But again, is that one school the only school not allowing backpacks? The other issue would be with the standing rules, the discipline issue. My son came home and mentioned the fact that there's a discipline procedure in play, but it was portrayed to him as a negative procedure. So I had to reach out to the principal about it. It was also portrayed to me as negative. Me and the principal went back and forth for almost a whole week, hence why I'm standing here. Felt like I got nowhere. So I'm bringing it to everyone's attention. It was negative. I don't think discipline, students receiving tickets for discipline actions in the hallways, and then resulting to lunch detention and then community service, probably shouldn't be discipline. I don't know how we get community service and discipline and then tickets all on the same page, and it needs to be portrayed different to the kids and then also reflected to the parents on a different note. It's a little confusing, not just to the kids, but also to the parents. I'm a parent who's involved in a lot of things, and I was confused. I'm very confused. And the information that was portrayed to me via email didn't make sense. I reached out for multiple answers and felt like I was playing ring around the bush. So I just want clear facts and answers so I can explain it to my kids so they understand that it's not for discipline. It's to help you not get a discipline on your record. So I get it now that I actually read through some things, but I mean, how do you explain this to a kid if they don't trust the administration in the building? But that's it.
Can you please leave your contact number and information with Dr. Altabella so he can get back to you on that? Okay, no problem. I didn't want to assume. Okay. So that actually ends the hearing of the public on school-related matters. Again, I want to wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving. And can I have a motion to adjourn? Sorry. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Motion passes.
Yes.
Okay. So whereas NJSA 10:4-13 requires adoption of the board to go into executive session, be it resolved that the board pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, New Jersey, Title 18A, and the Hamilton Township Board of Education bylaw number 0166 hereby enter executive session to discuss a matter involving matters falling under attorney-client privilege. Be it further resolved that the minutes of this executive session shall be made public following formal action by the board and/or at the conclusion of any investigation, due process proceeding, or litigation, so long as not prohibited by law and so long as the need for maintaining confidentiality no longer exists. We will not be taking action
So we will not be coming back. We'll just be coming back out to adjourn, but there will be no action taken.
Great night. Have a great Thanksgiving.